ever felt like the world was just totally against you? Everything going wrong at work, at home, vehicle just broke, and yet maybe even that sense that God isn't somehow happy with you is pressing on your heart. You know, I kind of painted a dark picture there, but at least in some of those areas, each one of us have felt, if not all of them, at some point. And those are really struggles that each one of us are going to have in life. And as we've gone through these devotional series, we've talked about how to deal with life in the face of reality. It's not always easy, but in a godly way. And we've talked about a lot of ways that we can be strong. And one of the things I'd like to just remind you today is that there is a battle for you out there. Peter tells us that Satan himself is a roaring lion, prowling around, seeking whom he will and can devour. Jesus told Peter earlier that, listen, Satan has asked to thresh you like wheat, but I have prayed for you that your faith would not falter, and that when you are returned, that you would strengthen your brothers. See, we talked about that failure all those weeks ago when we first started these. Jesus saw through that failure to the strength that he was working on the other side. Now, with that being said, that isn't going to happen just on its own. In fact, in Ephesians chapter 6, we're told that we have this war against us and that we're to put on the spiritual armor. Now, we put together this little handout here. I've got one here, and if you'd be interested in one, I'd ask you to reach out by email or just send us a message on Facebook or all the many ways where this is attached to get a hold of us. We'd love to get a copy of it for you. And in it, it says, "Not wrong, but strong," and it's a whole devotional booklet on how to work at being closer to God on a daily basis. Well, on the back of it, we got a couple of verses, and one of them is Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 13. And it's talking there about the need for us to be strong in the Lord and how he's calling us to be strong in his might. You know, a lot of times we try to weather these things on our own, and even with the different things we've shared in our mind, we've just tried to take the truth of God's word as if it's going to be the only thing we need to just wrestle through it. Got to remember, this is a relationship. He has promised to never leave us or forsake us. And we're going to have that strength as much as we're investing that in our life daily. Because then he will be the one who is pouring his grace even through that confident love that we're experiencing, even as we meet him in those same scriptures. So without that relationship, the rest are but facts. So many of these things that we talk about are just that. Facts without the meaning and the love and the relationship that's tied to it. So my encouragement to you today, if you're watching this, ask yourself, how am I doing with God? Am I even praying just as a work of the will? Am I really just throwing myself into his arms, into his love and saying, God, I trust you. Will you help me? Will you help me and speak to my life today? Well, that's going to be found in the Word. That's going to be found in prayer. And that's going to be found in these different ways, which we're going to cover in the next couple weeks, but are covered by this little booklet, this little handouts, where we look at not being wrong, but strong. Why do we feel wrong sometimes and not strong? Weak and not strong? Well, we're going to talk about that next time, and a lot of it are pretty basic things, but I'd ask you maybe to think through that until we post the next video.